I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:30 on August 11, 2025. If you could rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could have a moment of silence for all police and firefighters that are in service in helping our communities. You may be seated. Nicole has roll call, thank you.
Yes.
And can you do introductions?
Sure. Nicole Weisenborn, Deputy Clerk.
Don Grice, DPW Director.
Alan Glass, City Manager.
Jerry Link, City Council.
Pam Howell, City Council.
Liz Armstrong, Mayor.
Brad Hicks, Mayor Pro Tem.
Tom Hicks, City Council.
Denise Miller, City Council.
Brenda Simons, City Councilor.
We have no correspondence, so we're going to move on to public comment. Individuals wishing to speak will be called upon utilizing the completed public comment cards. Remarks should be addressed to the presiding officer, and it is not a time for debate, but for comments or questions for council and/or staff to answer or research. Questions will be answered during the meeting if the information is readily available. If answers are not available during the meeting, council or staff will contact the individual within 1 week or 7 business days, or when the information becomes available. No person shall have the right to speak more than once on any particular subject until all persons wishing to be heard on that subject have the opportunity to speak. And we're going to start off with our one and only Monica Lerner.
Monica Lerner. I live at 152 West Ralston Road in Linden. Do I talk about chickens now, or do I have to wait for the agenda? Okay. I have others still. So coming in here, there's a lake on West Ralston Road already on both sides. That was surprising. So if we already have a lake, what are we going to have down the road? So between Bridge Street and my house. So just observation. I don't have access to my 2 acres again, and it's been that way for a week now. So it was last Monday that they dug it up and all that jazz. So I still have lawn. The access into the driveways, my caregivers have problems getting up the driveways because now the driveways are dug out and awaiting, I'm assuming, the blacktop, but they're so dug out and there's such a hill to get up that even my truck, I was spinning out, and I shouldn't have to put it in 4-wheel drive, to get into my driveway. So the other things are chicken related. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to have a public comment this evening? Seeing none?
Madam Mayor, would you like us to address?
Yes.
Don?
In regards to the lake, it's because it's not finished grade, so the water can't make its way to the storm drains. It's running into the gutter there. So as soon as they put the asphalt on, it'll be able to flow into the storm drains. So this would be expected after a heavy downpour like what we had. Now it has to seep down through the stone bed and make it to the edge drain. So once the road is finished, it'll make it to the gutter and to the storm drains. If you need, they are getting ready for asphalt on Friday. If you need access to your secondary drive before then, I can work with the contractor and have them do that, provide it. Would you like that?
Okay, I'm gonna need it, yeah, because we're going past especially with this rain, down into
Okay, I'll have them do something with that. And as far as they're getting ready to pave, like I was saying, on Friday, so they're going to be taking all of those ramps away just ahead of the asphalt contractor. So on Friday, they'll level those out so that they can pave, but in the meantime, I can have them make it a little more gradual for you.
So this is not on the road itself. This is past the curb.
Right.
So you go down and then it's all loose. So then you're trying to get up the hill and, you know, you can't make it without spinning.
Okay, I'll have them look at yours.
Jerry? Councilman Link?
Yes. I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to add a topic. I would like to discuss the ethics ordinance.
Second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So that will become,
Got it?
yeah, that's what I was going to say. And that's going to make it discussion item C. Alright, next up is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
You make the motion?
I'll second.
Nicole? Can we get a roll call, please?
Yep. Armstrong?
Yes.
Howard? Yes. Miller?
Yes.
Hicks?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Simons?
No. Oh, I'm sorry, consent agenda, yes. Sorry about that. I got no in my brain.
And Link?
Yes.
Moving on to discussion items. Item A is revisions to proposed ordinance number 421 and ordinance amending chapter 90 animals. So we will first move to any audience questions or comments about this discussion item tonight. If you could come to the podium.
This is house chickens.
Yes.
You know who I am, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, I do currently have chickens, and I have the acreage / housing to support them. I've had chickens for over 60 years, so it's not something that just sounds like a good idea. Chickens are living creatures and dependent on you to feed, care for them, and protect them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Consider the commitment. Who will take care of the chickens long term? What about vacations, business trips? What happens if the primary care provider is sick? Who is the backup care provider? Chickens do not care if it's the weekend, your anniversary, Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or if there's a soccer game, football game, cheerleading practice, etc. Chickens must be cared for every day. So I don't know if there's people been asking about the chickens. I don't know how we got here. Do I think chickens belong in the subdivisions? No, not necessarily, but I think it's a case-by-case basis. If someone has the knowledge, the acreage, the housing, the yard, I think they should be allowed to have chickens, taking into consideration that proper housing is costly. Feeding layer feed is expensive for proper egg laying. Quite frankly, the number of eggs that I do get does not pay for their feed. I do this as more of a hobby than anything else. So the hotlines comment, if you want more chickens, then move to Shiawassee County, is uncalled for. I don't want more chickens. I want to be able to keep the chickens that I have, even my older girls who don't lay anymore. I see that Adam has a maximum yard space of 300 feet. I don't understand why there's a maximum. If you have the space, the acreage, why is there a cap put on it? A maximum of 3 chickens on lots less than 1 acre. For each whole acre, an additional 3 chickens for a maximum of 12 chickens on any single property. If you're gonna go that route with the acreage, why is there a cap on me for only having 12 chickens? That's not fair. Livingston County, there wasn't anything wrote about that, and they're the closest county to us. In Hamburg Township, for 2 acres, they can have 16 chickens, and then it goes up from there. Every 2 acres, they can have 16 chickens. So just, an example. So I don't think that all the eggs should be put in the same basket, so to speak. I think it should be a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other residents wishing to speak on the topic of chickens? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move. We'll start, Councilman Link.
A couple things I'd like to see, the 3 chicken maximum, I would like to see personally something more along, because 3 chickens isn't very many chickens at all, for a family if they're wanting to supply themselves with eggs. I did a little research and determining, looking at how many chickens it would take to support a family of, say, an average family of 4, and the size of the coop, the size of the run, and I would like to see something maybe more along the lines of like a ½ acre or less, 6 chickens, 1 acre, 10 chickens, and if you have 1.5 or larger, then you could go 15 chickens. Then from what I read, your space as far as the coop, they recommend, the sites that I looked at recommend 3 to 4 square feet per chicken. And that's in the coop area, and then if you have an enclosed run, it's 8 to 10 feet. Those were the only things that I would like to see maybe changed, to have 3 chickens. With 3 chickens, you're gonna get 2, sometimes 1 egg per day. So it's if you're wanting to keep them for just strictly as being pets, but if you're wanting to get something from them, the eggs, I think it needs to be more, but a small yard shouldn't have 20 chickens. So anyway, that's all I have on it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Howe.
Yes, the Adam's note also Adam's letter says time maximum number of chickens to parcel size. The revised draft includes proposed a maximum that is tied to parcel size, so I believe that's probably covered. I believe it should be, we should have a case-by-case basis. If someone has a larger area to have slightly more chickens, but, or in the case of Monica, like grandfathering that one in. I don't know if there's a grandfather provision in here, but and I think the zoning permit and all that is applicable, and I think we need all of that paperwork, but anyway, I do believe that it did say they could do based on the property size per Adam's letter. Anyway, that's enough said for me.
Councilwoman Simon?
I agree with what's written. I think it's, it's fair. The point that Pam brought up, it should be a case by case. I do agree with that. I read that, the grandfathering isn't, probable, that it's not something that's ordinarily done. But I think because we might have one or two people, like the gal who came up to speak, we might have a, a special case there, because she already has existing chickens. I would hate to have her get rid of any of them. It's not nice, even the ones that aren't laying. I mean, some people look at them like they're pets, so I think that needs some special consideration. But that's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Miller?
I was really looking into this because I was gone at the last meeting. I know of people inside the city that already have chickens. I think it'd be good to have a permit with that, so we know where they are. I agree with Monica that these are not, things that you can come feed every other day or once a week. They're our pets, but they still have to be taken care of, just like our dogs and our cats and our birds. I think people that are on acre lots, like Monica, and I'm not just pointing her up, but she was here, they can hold more chickens. In the city, I would want to see, on a smaller lot like mine, no more than 6. But it has to be maintained. It has to be a certain diameter for the hutches or coops.
Hoops and runs.
And then the runs. So I think there's a way we can do it to make everyone happy and allow them to, get some of their food that way. So I'm in agreement with what we have, for what we're proposing.
Councilman Hicks?
Okay, this is not a real difficult decision we have to make. Yes, the new amendments of keeping of no roosters, slaughtering is prohibited. The permit thing, yeah, I mean, that's a one-time thing that we know who's got chickens, and if chickens get out or something, they know who to kind of look at and say, hey, these are your birds. Okay, so I think that's a protective thing. The only thing that I have a problem with is the amount. Yep, okay, I mean, we've had chickens in this neighborhood for decades. I mean, you still see horse barns and with chicken coops next to them, so they've been here. They're not, we don't have a problem. So I think under half acre 6, up to a half acre to an acre 10, and over that 15. And I think that gives everybody a nice mixture of what they can have for the size of their lot. I don't think we need to pick each individual person, because that's going to make it too complicated. So I think the 6, 10, and 15 would be a nice round number that we've kind of all agreed on, that we could then move forward on this, and everybody should be satisfied.
Madam Mayor, may I ask you a question? Or may I ask a question? So, I would propose that if someone has like 2 or more acres, I mean, some people have 8 acres, that they could come to the city to see if they can get more than just that 12 or 15.
That's no problem.
Okay.
Most, 95% of our people here are 2 acre and under.
Say it again.
95% of the people here are 2 acres and under in Linden. So, yeah, so if you got an individual that wants to get an extra 5 or something like that, I don't see a problem with that.
Because
Okay.
but
Yeah,
they have to
I
have
mean,
8 more acres.
We gotta look at the needs of the many, not the needs
Right.
of just of the few.
Right.
So we'll address those, and then the other thing, I think the 610 and 15, because that should put you in okay. But the rest I agree on, the no slaughter, the no roosters, the setback set to 50 feet instead of 200. Because that was the only complaint that Scott's got in the last 2 years, is just that 200-foot setback. He's never got complaints, because I asked him personally, he does not have complaints on noise, smell, stuff like that, because people that have chickens, you're a type of person that you like them. I mean, you like a bird.
And if you like a bird, you're gonna get a bird. If you're not a bird liker, you're not gonna buy a bird. So it's just that simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Good.
I have no problem with, numbers of chickens. Actually, it's like the Manchester rule. You up to the 6, like Manchester and Washington County. 5 chickens, same property, less than half an acre, 10, up to an acre, then maximum 15. And over an acre. The things we can't do, legally, we can't do a case by case. We have to have an ordinance that covers all 4,100 residents. You can't do a case by case legally. So you can't have someone come back and say, I have 10 acres, why can't I have 50 chickens? You can't. If we have a cap, it's a cap. Because this is a ordinance for basically hobby farming. It's a the ordinance states it's for non-commercial purposes. So if you had 30 chickens, you could call it, commercial kind of thing. And the other thing we can't legally do is grandfather. In this ordinance, because it's not part of the zoning ordinance, it's our general code, there is no grandfather provisions. If it goes under the zoning ordinance, then there's grandfathering, but in the general code ordinances, you cannot grandfather.
Makes sense.
So I have no problem with, 50-foot setback, 15 chickens. Basically, the Manchester, Washington County suggestion to have just changing from 5 to 6. It doesn't bother me. I can't have chickens regardless. My lots just aren't that big.
Alright, so my take on this, we have quite a few neighborhoods that have HOAs. And some of those HOAs will in fact fall into the 50 feet. And that would be based on everything I am looking at. They would then have to go, retain legal counsel, have something written up, or get voted. Those were the ways it was put to me. To have something written up to be added for their HOA. And I think one of the big things that I've heard is that, about this, because I've been hearing more about it than I thought I would, is that people in HOAs are concerned, and they don't want the extra cost or the trouble of having to ban chickens in an HOA. And so I'm wondering if we can move it from 50 feet to 75 to 100, so that most of the neighborhoods, that's just where I was at, with 6 chickens to start and 3 an acre after.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Didn't it say in there that if it's not permitted in your HOA, then our permit will be correct? So it would be allowed.
Yes, but there isn't anything on the books currently in the HOAs about chickens.
Well, that would be a concern for their association.
Well, I can understand that. It also, good governance can sometimes prevent HOAs from having to hand things down. I was just asking a question, trying to see if there was a way that we could do it without every HOA having to do their own.
Madam
Excuse me, Beth?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, and I don't.
I don't
Yep.
think-
Yeah. It was just my suggestion.
So you guys can hear, what it was, I asked was, if it's in the thing that an HOA does not allow chickens, then our permit does not have any teeth there for them. She was saying that the HOAs don't have anything, and they're concerned because of this, then people want chickens. Well, we don't have anything on it right now, and people have chickens. So that was what our questions were to each other. She was wondering if that's gonna be a problem for HOAs.
And we do have quite a few.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
I know in my son's subdivision, they can't have pontoon trailers. In the city, they can. So I think it's just HOAs have their own rules that are separate from the cities. So that would be, for the HOAs to take care of. Everyone has different rules from different places, so I guess the HOAs would have to decide that.
Is there any further discussion on this item?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
On the size of the coop and the run, I know there's some verbiage in there, but I just want to make sure that, you know, if we carry this on, I assume this would be something we'd vote on. Just a discussion on the size of the coops. That if we do something, that there's a coop and run size that's based off of something, you know, some information online or.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
the coop sizes, he actually took the coop size itself and put it under the zoning ordinance, so it'd be zoned like a shed.
Okay,
He's taking the restrictions for, say,
right.
a shed and using that as coop size, so the coop couldn't be higher than,
Coop.
the coop couldn't be taller than a
Right.
X amount of building. It doesn't apply, it's already in there.
But as far as the square footage per chicken, so.
He doesn't have it square footage per chicken, he's not limiting it.
It wouldn't be limited
It needs-
to, but it would be a minimum. So like if you had 15 chickens, you wouldn't put a 3x3 coop.
I guess,
I was more concerned on the minimum size, not necessarily the maximum size. If you have 10 chickens, then if the recommended amount is 30 to 40 square feet, then, you know, something tying to that, so somebody says, well, I can have 15 chickens, but I'm gonna put them inside a, you know. So, that's just kind of what I would like to see something along those lines, whatever would seem, I mean, Adam can look at it, whoever, and find out what's a reasonable size coop for each number of chickens if we decide to go with the 6, 10, 15.
Madam Mayor, on average. Most of your Holly farms that buy now, they'll buy pre-made chicken coops or ones that they can assemble with runs and stuff, and they have right on it, they have big maximum chickens allowed. Okay, and if you follow into the chicken sites, these people are very, I mean, if one guy says, I got this, they're on him big time. Oh, you can't do that, that's not right and stuff. So I think they're more self-governing on that, because that's part of protecting your birds and raising your birds healthy. Healthy birds get more eggs. So that's just, I'm not trying to contradict or
No,
anything,
that's
but
good. No,
yes, if you get into the chicken sites, I've been into them for years, they're real sticklers on that.
Any further?
I have a question, thank you.
Council.
Is Monica Larner's piece of property the, one of the few pieces of property that would actually have the acreage she has? Like, there aren't several pieces left in the city, right? So,
I don't know off the top of my head, but there are several parcels on Rolston Road, probably Ripley. So there are other parcels, but it's not the majority.
okay, so since there are a few, why couldn't we write the ordinance to include the number that she has now and the acreage?
I think that's what's being,
Yeah, right, right.
the 6, 10, and 15, if I understand it right,
Is that what you called out, Brad?
is,
yeah, that's a half, that's 6, 10, 15, that's, in Adam's recommendation, it's the Manchester, Washtenaw County version.
Okay.
6 chickens under, and Tom said 6 chickens, so 6 under a half acre, anything, you go over half acre to an acre is 10, over an
Okay,
acre
got
is
it.
15.
Got it, thanks for the clarification.
Madam Mayor, what was the number of chickens that Monica said she had?
I don't know. Did you say how many chickens?
How many chickens you had, Monica?
I have 20 chickens.
Thank you.
That covers. Thank you.
Any further?
To go back to the square footage, so the way the new part reads, not less than 25 square foot for any number of rabbits or poultry.
That was.
So 25 is a 5 by 5. That, for any number, that doesn't make sense to me.
Madam Mayor,
Yeah.
Okay.
The 25 foot is the minimum. The maximum is 300. The minimum square footage for any amount, so the smallest that the run can be is 25 feet. That's the smallest.
Right, but.
Up to
it's
the
safe
largest
for
of
any
3,
element.
right.
So somebody could say, okay, I can put 10 chickens in
No.
25 square feet.
You're interpreting it. That's the smallest. It also says it's 8 to 10 feet per chicken. At least it should.
It
That-
doesn't.
We had that conversation where there's gonna be another 10 square feet per chicken.
So it just has the 1,500 square. for
We'll add it.
ground.
That'll be added.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
are you done, Brett?
Yep.
Okay, that's where I went and looked, because I didn't see anything that said actually, and this, I went to several websites. They said for coop size, 3 to 4 square feet per chicken, and then 8 to 10 for the run area, for the enclosure, the outside portion of it, if it's an outside run. But, and then I guess, you know, if the council would like, we could do, if you have 2 acres, go to 20. But again, back to what Tom was saying, you start getting beyond that, and it's, you know, 30, if you have 30 chickens or go on, now you're, what do you know,
Commercial.
yeah. I mean, I would be willing to go with the 20, 2 acres or more. But where do we stop, I guess is the question.
Madam Mayor, the issue is, this is a non-commercial ordinance, so, you know, 15 chickens should be substantial for most families.
Madam Mayor, can we propose that
You need,
the ones that have the 20 chickens as of today?
you can't do
I
that.
can't do that.
No,
Then I-
No, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind me, please. Your coop, last time I saw it, I think you're a 10 by 10, so you're 100 inside square foot, and then your run, I think, is a 10 by 15. So you're about 150 square feet right now, if I'm not mistaken,
I
correct?
have, 400, square foot of ground.
With your outside
And
coop?
I have, 120 inside.
Okay, because I knew your inside was around 100. So, it must have expanded a little bit. But as you know, as I know, you have die-off throughout the year. You have 20 now, and you may have 10 6 months later.
Right.
So, I think, so I don't,
And, you know, a good percentage.
yeah, I mean, so I think
Don't
this,
lay anymore.
I think we're trying to split 5 birds is just,
Yeah.
because they're gonna rotate. You're gonna have die-off, and it's
Okay.
just normal.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree with Brett.
So, I think we should be okay there.
Madam Mayor, one other.
Yes.
Would it be, Brad, legal to say, okay, it's 15 and then there's a time frame?
To reach 15,
Yeah,
well, not really. But the other thing you have to take into account is we are a complaint-based
okay,
enforcement.
yes, that's kind of.
So
where I was
unless-
going, Yes,
Right.
We're not the chicken police. We don't have an officer that's gonna go out and count chickens.
okay. Yes.
Any further questions?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I believe in the cap is a good idea that Brad suggests, so that keeps, so people don't think it's you can just have a limited number of chickens and that wouldn't do. And then we're going to have to do some education, public outreach on this, because it's a bit confusing. So people can understand exactly how many chickens they can have, and as part of the permitting process, I'm sure, but it's gotta be clear.
I have a comment
About that.
if you please. How many people has come in and asked about chicken? Have we had people coming in and asking? Okay.
No, Tom had brought it up to me and I had brought it to the council at a work session to see what the pleasure of the council was as a whole, but we've had nobody. We actually got more inquiries about keeping of chickens during COVID. But since egg prices and all of that stuff rise, we have not gotten any inquiries.
So just back to Pam's comment, is it education that we're putting out there, or are we notifying people we have a new ordinance and they can have chickens? I mean,
Whatever council's pleasure is, I mean, obviously, we'd probably update it in the newsletter, things like that.
So people don't cry foul?
Yeah. And people do keep chickens for other reasons than eggs, you know, there's a lot of people that do it for 4-H reasons, things like that, also meat chickens and stuff like that, so, and again, you know, I would, before we leave here tonight, I would like you guys to recap exactly what you would like in the next one, because we thought we captured that. Obviously, we missed it, you know, so, before we leave tonight, just like you guys to recap exactly where we're at with all the regulations, so we make sure that it's included in the next one, so. Brad, you wanna take a shot at recapping?
I think we do, 'cause it's pretty much what Adam has. You know, under his examples, it would be similar to Manchester, Washington County, where we'll do 6 chickens under a half acre. And then between a half acre and 1 acre, 10 chickens, and a maximum of 15 chickens, any property larger than 1 acre, with a run size to equal 10 square feet per, minimum 10 square feet per the number of chickens kept. A coop size of, what is it, 3 cubic feet per chicken?
Not cubic feet.
Not
square
cubic,
feet.
square feet, yeah. Well, he was doing cubic
I
feet.
know,
yesterday.
I know.
Actually.
I know, because you go up, but yeah, square feet. With the structures still falling under our regular zoning ordinance. I think that was the only,
Okay, Nikki, were you gonna get it?
Yeah, it was, so the square footage was 10 square feet per chicken, is that correct?
of the run size, yes, run size 10 square feet per chicken.
And the setback, Brad, again?
Setback is 50 feet, as recommended.
Okay. Sure.
Also gonna move the setback back. It's not gonna apply to me anyway, I don't get chicken.
I think 50 feet. And then still leaving the no slaughter, the permit.
No, yep, everything else remains.
excuse me,
And no
setback from,
roosters.
It was 200, and the recommendation was 50.
from homes, right?
Yeah, from any living space.
From any
Property.
living space?
Yeah.
What about the property line?
That's
It's
about
from-
5
yeah.
feet.
Okay.
Succulents.
So, okay, so 50 feet, okay.
Sorry, was that 5 feet from property line?
50.
Property line?
No, if I'm not mistaken, our code is 5 feet off property lines for sheds. and
It's
stuff.
50 feet away from any
50
residence.
50 feet from any living residence, so you can't put it right up next to your neighbor's house, it's gotta be 50 feet,
Yeah.
50 feet circle,
Right.
5 feet?
5 feet
Property
property
line.
line.
yeah. Which, isn't that what the code is, property 5 feet off lines for sheds? I think that's what I read was 5 feet, so.
I don't know, I apologize, I'm trying to go through it, but
Backyard setbacks and
Yeah.
side yard setbacks are a little different,
Yeah.
they vary.
depends. All right. I think we got it.
Good.
I think so.
Okay.
We'll see when we bring it back.
I think we got it.
Moving on to item B, Cunningham and Limp Mill renovation. Ellen?
Madam Mayor, Ryan is actually gonna address the council tonight on where we're at with the mill.
Good evening tonight, I'm Ryan Barker, I'm our chief estimator, I run the pre-construction team at Cunningham. I have been the lead since we were blessed to go through and take over the project for you guys. I've been working with Ellen and Don, we went through the budget last week on where we are after a public bidding process. I can get in as much detail or as 30,000 foot view, whatever you guys questions on, whatever you have to ask. But we are just under, with our construction budget, we are just under $5 million. We have taken it out to public bid. We got responses from local contractors out of the Flint market, Detroit market, here locally and everywhere in between. Was posted on Linden, and then we also went through and sent out our own private solicitations to the guys that we go through and work a lot with. Had a mixed bag of the guys that we had responses from, and went through and evaluated all the bids that we received to go through and come up with the just shy of $5 million. That is our construction cost. That does not include any type of permitting. Also doesn't include the A&E for architecture and engineering. But after our process that we worked through, one of the aspects with it, this that's up on the screen, this is our standard schedule of values. This is what we would go through and put into our contract that we would get approved. Moving forward, there is another document that I had sent over to Kristen, I believe. And she put in there, I broke it out a little bit differently and kind of grouped it in some different aspects and different categories. One of the things that's really driving the cost of the mill is all the structural improvements and structural repair that we have to do. Through investigation of looking at the mill, we really found out that there's a lien to it, and also in order to bring it up to code and to go through and put the pounds per square foot safety factors that we require in today's codes on the building, there's some structural improvements that have to be done, not only to the foundations, but to the inside structure as well. We have to reinforce the inside of the structure with steel channels to go around the existing wood beams to enforce it, to bring the pounds per square foot, even for the library or the museum to come back in, to bring it up to current standards. Another aspect with what we're doing is bringing the historical aspect back. We're refurbishing and reinstalling the windows. New windows are Sierra Pacific windows that give it the same historical appeal that it has now, but it's more energy efficient, along with going through and stripping the paint off, repainting the outside, putting the letters back on. The addition will have a clean break where you can see where the existing building is from the addition. That way it still stands proud and still goes through and gives homage to the existing building. And then we go through and put the addition on that'll allow us to put a second stairwell in, the required ADA bathrooms along with an elevator to make every floor accessible throughout the building and give everybody the opportunity to go through and utilize the different floors. So it's where we're at right now. We're gaining steam. Cunningham Limp is ready as soon as we get a contract signed and move in and go through and start in September potentially, as soon as we can, once we get everything finalized. We're in the home stretch of going through and getting our Eagle permit finalized. We just got the ability to go through and get our muscle survey and some other aspects that came up with the Eagle permitting process. Hopefully we'll get approval to move forward next month. Any questions anybody has, I'm more than happy to go through and answer.
Councilwoman Howe?
So what came of the mussel study? So in the mussel study, you found there were
So-
no rare or endangered mussels?
So the Eagle process, Eagle has asked us to perform a muscle study.
All performed.
We haven't done it yet. It came during the permit review. Don, I believe you actually approved for us to go through and get the survey today.
Correct.
And OHM is the one that's gonna be doing it. But they can meet what we need for timeline as far as getting it done and submitted back to the state. That way we can still get our September start. So what happens is there's an endangered mussel species. It gets inside of the rivers. When we get too close, Eagle pushes you to perform these surveys to make sure that you're not going through and destroying or messing with the habitats of any type of endangered species.
Councilman Link, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions.
Councilwoman Thomas?
No additional questions, thank you.
Councilwoman Miller?
A couple questions. With the foundation work, is that foundation work they've already done?
We have not done any foundation work to go through and perform on the building. What we have to do is install a temporary coffer dam that actually extends off the existing dam and wraps around to the embankment that's to the west side of the existing structure. We have to dewater that area, put in a tributary curtain, that way nothing floats away, to protect the rest of the downstream area, to allow us to water the area to get in, to refurbish the existing foundations. Through the structural investigations we've done, the way that we actually have to do it is we have to perform 5 foot of work, skip 10 feet, perform 5 foot of work, skip 10 feet, and go that way, let everything cure, and then come back and then keep going in that manner. That way we don't undermine the hydrostatic pressure from the existing foundations that will push out and cause the building to collapse. So we're taking precautions, and that's one of the other reasons the foundations built with concrete lines are so expensive, is because we can't just go in like you typically would, mass excavate everything out and then just pour it in one shot. It's a lot more involved with the labor and everything else within the process.
I totally agree. That's the most important part.
Mhm.
Has
And
to stand up.
We're taking on the front side of the building as well through investigations due to the lean and the way the hydrostatic pressure is working within the building. We're taking the porch off and we're rebuilding the whole front porch. And when we do that, we're tuck pointing and refurbishing the cobblestone foundation on the front side, along with putting in counterfort measures to withstand the earth and pressure on that side as well. And then we're gonna go through and actually pull steel rod through the foundation into those counterforts to pull it all towards the south side of the parking lot.
And from what I understand is you're not trying to take out the lean, you're just trying to stabilize.
Correct.
Okay.
That way it doesn't get any worse.
Now the bid here, is this the bid we have?
That is that would be our final GMP cost.
Okay.
And our costs stop at the bottom for the total construction cost. And that does not, all inclusive, because we are not a design build contractor, include the A&E fees, permit fees, any type of investigation. That's why inside of that proposal, or at the bottom here, you can see we're at the $4,992,000.
Yeah.
That's our contract amount. The rest of it would be outside, but we were trying to give Don Ellen and the city kind of a snapshot on where we thought H2 Architects and some of the consultants were at with their fees to give a totality of total project costs, but that doesn't fall under our preview. We're just trying to foreshadow on what the total project cost is, including some of the scopes that are outside of ours.
So on a great day, and everything goes right, when do you think that everything could be done?
We are forecasting and hoping that we have between a 9 to 11 month duration.
So by next summer?
That's our goal. No, that's, like you said, perfect.
Oh, I know,
situation.
my husband was a
Yeah,
construction worker.
you go
so I
through and
understand.
open up some of these closets with skeletons and everything else and find certain
And there's
things.
150 skeletons. Okay, and I guess this would be Ellen. We had a $4 million grant. We've gotten interest on that money.
We didn't get the 4 million, we got 2 million. We've utilized some of that, just to get us to this point that we're at now, right, obviously. So architectural fees, things like that, and stuff. So it has earned some interest. And we have the ability to now spread over the additional costs over 2 budget years instead of just 1. If we can get this approved, get it started this September, we'll be able to, like I said, spread it over the 2 fiscal years and things like that, so.
Well, I want to thank you.
Yeah.
This really was done, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We already have capacity reserves. I've already been working with my project management team and everything else to go through the ground and get some tenders. So we're really excited to be part of it.
Well, the city of Linden's gonna be excited. I know everyone that goes to Mill Pond, they've just been looking at it, so, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Leland, David? Councilman Hicks.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, we're not done.
That's fine.
Pull up a seat.
My bad.
Pull up a seat, we're gonna have some time.
I sat for an hour and a half in that here, so.
I sit on the DD, the Downtown Development.
Historical Council,
Development.
okay.
And my question was on, because I've seen all this stuff that you're talking about, as I understand it. We went through 2 or 3 different settings for the outside development, the physical look, the addition, and they fine-tuned it by public input. That last voted on, that's the design we're running with?
So some of the things that we had to add back in is there was a wraparound corner on the northwest corner that had some brick that went out that corner and then around the area where next to the water, that's on there. We had to add in some windows and some dormers and like that. So H2A had went through and heard all those aspects. Really, that's what I was saying, to really delineate the existing structure from the new structure. We have to take and keep the roof eave. So Jackie was able to go through and really work that in, and I worked through with all my roofers and the guys that we were talking with. That way that eave stays on, and then we had to cut an area to put the beam in for the ridge point and all like that. But yeah, everything that was within those conversations is where we're going, where we're at.
Okay, so we're running the same roof line all the way
Yep.
down. but just making it to where it's two different, you can tell it's a different building. 'Cause we
You would,
have to-
yes, you would,
we
at
have
the
to
end
for
of
the, for the historical
At
society.
the end of the day, you'll be able to tell, like in the front of the building, there'll be like a trim board that goes up the front.
That
And
one
we'll have the
trim
wood,
board.
yeah, we'll have the wood lap that stays and gets repainted. And then we're going with like an LP Smart Side product, so it's fiber cement siding that then goes and wraps around the block walls on the addition. I think the porch roof, there's like a relief in it so that we can go through and tell where that difference is.
Okay.
I do think the roof is one straight plane, because there's no way for us to not get that, because we need a continuous insulation per code to go through and provide the R value that we need in that roof system. And there really wasn't a way for us to go through and break that roof line.
Yep. No, and that's what we had voted
Yep.
on, was the straight roof.
Mhm.
And I know the last meeting, we did have a couple extra windows.
Yep.
That the public wanted. And we gotta show that that's a different building
Mhm.
to be able to keep it
For sure.
in the Michigan Historical Society. So-
Completely understand.
But that's all I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
we've done 3 or 4 other historical projects, so we've dealt with SHPO and everything else a little more stringent
And
than what you guys are.
the lap board will be different size in
Yep.
addition to the other. Perfect.
I think
Okay.
that, yeah, I think the existing's a 5.
A
One's a
5
5
and
and
a
one's a 6,
6.
so
They're
yeah.
both a 6 or 7, not a
It's a
5.
different, you'll be able to tell, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Councilman Dick.
My questions would actually be for, us as council and our city managers. We're $1.5 million over where we'd like to be. And can we make that difference up? Do you see it? And I know we have some money tucked in this year's budget, but some in next year. I mean, that means we do almost nothing.
Right, that capital outlay that we talked about during the budget time, as we knew that these projects were coming forward, that we were gonna have, anticipating additional. As we talked about, that we do have earned some interest, on the 2 million, that they provided so far. And, like I said, we'd be able to spread that over 2 years, but we would end up eventually, this would affect our fund balance,
Absolutely.
so.
Do you know how much?
Well, anything additional over that 4 million.
Well, so is the rendering, the last rendering that we saw, B rendering?
Correct. The
Okay,
last
I
one that
wanted
was
to make
approved
sure.
by HTC and the last
Okay.
one that was,
Yes.
it's just what they discussed. There's been a lot of concern that the addition looks the way that it does, but it's very clear on the standards, and Secretary of Interior standards, that it has to look different. You have to be able to visibly look at that building and know that there is an addition and that is not of historical nature like what the existing building is. So the last rendering that did show, Brian, you indicated the wrap on the bottom portion, the additional windows, the different, obviously it's one roof line at the top, but there's a difference in the roof line for the porches. So just some little subtle differences, but still enough. Different size siding, I think he just explained on the addition, yeah, so, yeah.
I had seen it, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure it was still the same. And I wanna thank you for your time and I'll drive up.
Madam Mayor, can I ask an
Yep, I
addition?
was going to you, I was just
Okay.
finishing mine. All right, Councilwoman Young.
Okay, just two questions, one for you, Ellen, one. The steel rod that you're going to put through to stabilize the lean, where is that anchored?
So there's steel channels,
The steel channel?
there's columns and beams that make up the structure of the basement level. So that holds up floor 1 where the library used to be.
Okay.
So we are going through, and on that basement level, we have to put in steel channels that get bolted through the beams,
Oh, okay.
2 steel channels that go up and down, and then they also go on the beams that go
Okay.
across the floor system. On those steel cut channels that then abut the exterior wall, we're welding on plates that receive threaded rods. Those threaded rods will get doweled and screwed, or doweled and bored through the foundation wall, and then actually will attach to the counterforts that we're burying in the dirt under the porch outside. So the threaded rods then will pull that all together and help that building
Okay.
from swaying or leaning either way.
You had that on your plan too, I remember.
Structural engineer does.
Now I remember seeing, thank you. And then, Ellen, so you said we have 2 million, are we going to get the other?
Yes.
Okay.
But the way that the grant through MEDC was ran is that you get your initial 50% up front, and then near substantial completion, you get the other.
I was just worried because with everything going on, just.
No, we
Okay,
talked to the state
okay.
of Michigan, and as you guys all know, we did get an extension as well, a 1-year extension with the possibility of an additional year. I don't even wanna suggest that, we wanna get this done, and we wanna get it moving and get it going as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and I think as we move through the process, they've been great to work with, and they would forward that, yeah, but
what
that's
I-
not affected.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Any other additional?
I got one more question. So this is good, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. So we're gonna have still the regular roof?
It will be a
and paint?
shingle, it'll be a shingled roof. That is, going back to the rendering, there was a version of a standing seam that was on the porch roof. That was an add alternate. I do have the pricing on that if you wanted the number to go up a little bit. I figured that, so I have it carried as every bit of roofing will be asphalt shingles. The Landmark Pro product that has a 30-year warranty. Actually, when I go through and reshingle my house here in the next probably year or so, it's the exact same shingles I will be putting on my own home. And then we will have the wood clapboard existing siding. I'm carrying a small allowance to go through and replace anything that we found is decayed or rotted as we go through and strip all the paint and everything else off. We will be painting the 3 sides that don't receive the one where the addition abuts. Those 3 sides will be painted the historical color that was deemed during the HDC conversations, and we'll be utilizing a pre-primed LP Smart Side product that goes to cementitious siding that's supposed to have no type of issues, doesn't have to be repainted, and then it goes on, would be the south, west, and north side where the addition is, and then covers up the block that goes up in those areas.
What's the warranty on that?
I believe the Smart Side paint finish warranty for the Hunters going down is like 25 or 30 years. I think it's something I can confirm.
So they back up the warranty.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
No problem.
Madam Mayor, just so council knows, Cunningham Lift's gonna obviously be walking through this project every step of the way. They're going to be managing, the contractors are gonna be managing every step of it, and stuff. And they were involved with the renovation and restoration of the Glen Arbor Mill. And I don't know, some of you guys have been involved, may have seen that addition. It's up in, Glen Arbor. So they've been involved in that process. It looks very similar to our mill. And so, I think we're all excited to get going, get moving on it. And I guess from my standpoint, we're gonna bring this back to the next council meeting to get a final decision. Is there anything additional you guys would like to see, or anything additional that you would like to have Ryan provide by the next meeting?
So with that, on the next meeting, there will be additional documents because we will be bringing our whole contract packet. And what I mean by that is I will have my drawing list that references all the H2A drawings. I will have my schedule of values broken out similar to what it is now. I will also have probably a 8 to 15 page specification document, clarifications to the drawings. It goes through if there's any discrepancies or just some things that we need clarified. I mean, the best architect still does it, says one thing on X page and another thing on another. So we're going to tell you the way that we're interpreting, the way that we're doing it. That document will be in there. It'll be in our contract form. We already have our base agreement signed, so once we agree on the GMP price, we can go through and slip those documents in, pull the old ones out, and then go through and have a contract amendment for the agreed upon price. So we're trying to make it as seamless and easy as possible. We will have a full contract package ready for the 28th.
Madam Mayor, would we see that before we have our council meeting? Ellen, would we
The
get that
Wednesday
packet
after.
beforehand?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, my question would be, if the standing seam option for that porch roof was available, how much more?
It's about 15 grand.
15 grand? You're talking about a roof that never needs to be replaced.
Those are typically 50 years.
Yeah, the 50-year roof versus steel roof. We did the same thing when we did the Bassett Steels Wood Park. We switched from asphalt to standing seam on that roof, just because, as we know, we're not necessarily the greatest at doing maintenance on this stuff. So anything that can give us a longer lifespan, I'm all in favor for it.
Madam Mayor, can I ask Brad a question? Would that be something that we need to really look and see, get a price on it?
Oh, he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
it.
15 grand.
15 grand.
Ellen, is that something that 15,000 extra that the city could do?
So another aspect with it is, not to get into contract terms or what, or anything there, but We have a GMP, which is a guaranteed maximum price or cost plus contract. So as we go through, that's something that doesn't need to be necessarily evaluated on day one, that we could go through potential,
Okay.
see if we can buy it out with the project, and then see if we can, who wants the job with that?
It's just a little bit more flexible.
So we might be able to go through and evaluate as we go and see if we can slip that into the cost. Now, to do the whole roof, that'd be a little bit different.
Any further questions?
No, thank you, a lot of information. Oh,
Do we wanna recommend making that change? I mean, it makes sense to me if it's the longevity that we're gonna get. I agree with Brad, if we can save the money. The next council that's here 30 years from now, they might be happy with us.
And do we bring that forward to the next meeting?
Oh, if we,
I can-
he
it's-
just
it's-
put it
Oh,
in
okay,
that.
okay.
Just put it
Okay.
in the numbers. I already got it. It's a
That's
bid
good.
alternative when I bid it out, right?
That's
So I
really
already
good.
have it.
If we agree, he can put it in the document,
Oh,
it'll be
that's-
there. We don't have to vote on it or anything, he can just
That
slip
sounds
it
like, it's a good idea. I mean,
Yes.
it's a good idea.
in.
It's just for the porch.
Just for the porch,
It's
yes.
just so we're clarifying, it's not for the entire roof.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Now, another aspect of this that I do want to make clear though too, is that this was to go through and be able to provide the mill ready to go to be able to have a occupant inside of it. So since we have been going through and looking at the project, we were asked to then go through and evaluate if we were to put the library back in on the first floor, put the historical society back in on the top floor. So that is an alternate that is below the line that we do not have included in our base bid because that came up after the last presentation that we presented to council. So to go through and finalize the HVAC package, finalize electrical, fire alarm, fire suppression, build out a couple walls, flooring, paint, all those different parts and pieces, that touchy-feely things that you see when you walk into these areas, it is an additional cost that is listed below the line. So I can't, and I'm going off of memory, but I want to say, Ellen, was it around 250?
Yeah, 243, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, there is an additional cost to build out the rest if those organizations are gonna take over those spots. Now, if we were gonna utilize, oh, and I'm sorry, that's also the basement level to be able to be utilized for gathering spaces, if you're gonna have like a birthday party or a bridal shower or something like that. To fit and finish essentially 0, 1, and 3. 2 would still stay. White box is what we refer to it as. It would be utilized for potential another tenant down the road. So to fit and finish the rest of those areas, since that wasn't in our base scope when we started, I didn't want to go through and muddy the waters and include that now because that wasn't something that we presented when we showed numbers and had a discussion with council previously.
And just to recall, when we started this process, we were doing it with the intention of having requests for proposals out there with the tenant hopefully sharing in some of those costs. Obviously, with the decisions that have been made, the tenants are not going to be sharing in some of those costs, so that's going to be more on the city, so that's what we're referring to.
Yeah, I just didn't want to,
Yeah, no, I appreciate
forget
that.
to bring that up. I
Yeah.
looked up in the screen and
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that too. And we have everybody on board to finalize all of those different aspects of the project as well. I mean, when we bid it out with the holistic scope, those items were included. I broke them out on our end, that way it was apparent that when that change was made, there was some additional scope, there had been some additional scope put into the project to fit and finish those areas.
thank you.
Lots of information.
It's been a really fun project to be involved in. I mean, I've done a lot of different things, and this is definitely one of them. I think of that as I've enjoyed the most being a part of. I mean, it's got a rich history. It was built before the Civil War, so it's a very cool
Your
project.
grandkids will say, my grandpa gets up really good. Huh?
I appreciate very much, and I believe we all appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you very much. for your
Hopefully
help.
this leads into some more work up here with you guys, so we're very excited to be a part of the team, be a part of the family here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item C, the ethics.
I wanted to bring up, when we voted in this ethics ordinance, or not we, but when it was voted in, I spoke from that side of the table. It was kind of against it because I've seen ethics ordinances brought up, companies and they were used as weapons more than they were used to resolve problems. I guess first thing I want to say is that this is, I'm wanting to have the discussion, depending on where the discussion leads with everyone here, whether we vote on, getting rid of the ethics ordinance or not will be determined by what the general feel here is with the council. What I don't want to do is take any of the validity away from, the complaints that were made, because I feel that, if I was to rob a bank, the council could make moves to remove me from the council. But what's happened here, in some cases were more valid than others for actions to be taken, but we've had 4, maybe 5 ethics ordinances brought up. I would venture to say that it's cost the city tens of thousands of dollars in lawyer fees to go through that. And if you look at where we were when the ethics ordinance was brought in and where we are right now, has anything changed that would say, you know what, that was money well spent, things were changed. I think if there is a problem, if somebody does something, I'll just use myself, if I do something that's wrong, that I should be either, removed from council or whatever the punishment might be. I believe, and Brad, you're well versed in this, but the council has the authority to make those decisions, whether we have an ethics ordinance on the books or not. No? So there's nothing we can do if I robbed the bank?
We'd have to wait out your time while you're sentenced. Then you'd be discharged from absent from council.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yes.
All we could do, based on what you're talking about, is, no, you would move the ethics ordinance from where I wanted it in the first place. I never wanted it as an ordinance. You take the ethics ordinance package, you move it out of an ordinance and into our policies and procedures for council. So it still applies, but it's not an ordinance.
Okay.
And it doesn't have this, any kind of the penalties of, an ordinance.
I just see a lot, and like I say, I don't want to take away from the accusations that were made, but I mean, we've had multiple council members being brought up on this, and basically nothing has come of it as a result, and we've spent a lot of money that I feel probably could go to something else in the city and be more useful to the residents. But as long as there's some way to make sure that the council members, people of the city, that there's some regulations to make sure that we just can't do whatever we want. But, at the same time, right now, I feel that it's been a waste of money because nothing has come out of it. So I was just wanted to open it up for discussion and see how everybody felt on it. And if the majority feels, hey, you know what, I'd like to leave it the way it is, we can. And if we would like to see it brought up for a vote next month, I'd like to have that discussion.
Madam Mayor, the only other issue with that though, Jerry, is the ethics ordinance now applies across all our councils and committees because it's an ordinance.
Yeah.
So if we repealed it, then there'd be no way to remove somebody from another board or any kind of actions. There's no actions that can be taken for our other boards and committees to remove someone.
But if they moved it, even then?
No, it'd have to be moved in. Each board would have to go through and adopt it
okay.
In
in their own bylaws. Each board would have to go through and adopt it, and we would have no say as council. Each board would have the say to adopt their bylaws. So they could modify it, they could not adopt it, so then we could end up with a patchwork, which we don't want to do that either.
Plus, what you have said, Jerry, nothing has come up. Oh, sorry.
All right, so we're gonna move on right now. I'm gonna start over here, and then I'll work to you, I apologize. Okay, so, Councilwoman Sykes.
So, I clearly believe we need an ethics ordinance. When we talked about this back some time ago, you know, you take a look at what's going on with the federal government, you take a look at what's going on with Lynch, you take a look at what's going on with different communities around us and the things that are going on, and the things that counselors are doing that have they're less than integrous. I believe it should remain an ordinance and cover the whole city. It's not a tool to resolve conflict, though. It's not a weapon, it's not a tool to resolve conflict. What happens with an ethics ordinance, basically ethics are holding us to a standard. We have to perform at a standard, we have to remain in an integrous spot where we're not manipulating residents or hurting each other or lying. You know, it's a standard, like any other standard we hold ourselves to as a personal person, right? So, you can't remove people from council, but what happens is it holds people to that standard, exposes incidences that lack integrity, and then our residents know. So, say someone has breached the ordinance, well, then it's in the paper, and our residents know, and they're informed that something bad has happened, something wrong has happened. And, you know, they're the ones who vote. Aren't they the ones that's supposed to know who's on council and who's, you know, committing breaches of that ordinance? I mean, if I did it or you did it, I mean, I would truly expect someone to bring me up on the ethics ordinance if I went around talking about everybody on council and saying how bad they were and how liars and cheaters, and, you know, if I went around doing that, I want my residents to know, honestly, what's being done, what's being said. It's pretty straightforward to me, and I think it should cover our whole city. And like I said, it really came from a federal level because of all the chaos that was going on, right? I want to be well informed when I go to vote. And if someone has done something wrong, I want to be able to know what that is myself and make my decision. So that's really what it's for. It's not to shame anybody, it's not to punish anybody. We can't do anything to you, can't do anything to me. But the simple fact is our residents have a right to know if something goes on. So that's just where I stand on it, and I don't think that it needs any changes. But that's my input, and I hope that if we do bring it back and we take a quick look at it, if something might need to be changed, something that we don't like in there, it's worth taking a fresh look at it. But I stand on the decision we made. That's all I have.
Councilwoman Miller?
Well, a couple of questions. I know that I was on the other side too. And you were saying something about the policy. I know the past mayor voted no on this decision. And I just don't know between the ethics ordinance and an ethics policy, if there's a difference. And again, I don't want this used as weapons that we go after people. But the same thing, if somebody does something wrong, we definitely have to, you know, check that out. So I guess I would ask the question, what's the difference between a policy and an ordinance, if you have that?
Madam Mayor, I think Brad briefly touched on it. So council has their rules and procedures that you guys have recently reviewed. When the discussion was brought up before, and you referenced that the previous mayor voted no, the previous mayor, from my understanding, voted no because they thought the intent was to move it from an ordinance and put it into the rules of procedure, as Brad indicated, right? As Brad indicated, though, the rules of procedure only governs this board. The ethics ordinance, the way that it's written, it applies to all the boards and commissions that the city has, okay? So if we were to move it away from an ordinance form and put it in rules of procedure, then we would want to make sure that that same language is updated to put in the other boards' procedures, policies, or bylaws. So, and as Brad indicated, there's a chance for them to amend or change and it be a little bit different than what council says, things like that. So originally when it was brought up, it was at that same meeting, I recall that they were discussing heavily and thought that it was heading in the direction of moving it from an ordinance and putting it into the rules of procedure, and there was a motion made to adopt the ordinance as written, and then it just kind of went from there, so, but.
My next question is this, so this just happens with boards and commissions, it does not do anything with personnel,
This is strictly for boards and commissions.
boards and commissions. Okay, thank you.
My only question is, the other boards, like the DDA and the HDA and stuff, don't they run under our rules also? I mean, don't we kind of overlook them to a certain point? Because we're the city council, they're doing stuff in the city also.
Correct, but they're responsible for adopting their bylaws and rules and procedures. You guys can make a recommendation, absolutely, and best practice, and I don't see them changing it, to be quite honest. I do see, I don't see that being an issue. Now, in the future, I don't know that. You know, if you take it out of an ordinance format and put it into the rules of procedure, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, if someone decides to, you know, change that, then they on any of those boards and commissions, they could potentially do that. So, I don't see that happening now. I don't see any of them having an issue with implementing it as a policy within their bylaws or their rules of procedure.
Madam Mayor, may I ask one more question on
Not
that?
until.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Councilwoman Howe.
Oh, okay. So, just as a side to start, when someone wants to add a discussion item, usually when we're making changes, it's to agenda, it's moving one item or another to either the consent agenda or either discussion item, that which is on the agenda, but not, like this, where someone out of the blue just says, I want to add ethics ordinance discussion. Because that does not give us all fair time to examine that. And as Denise just said, is it gonna be, for the mill on Wednesday? Will we receive this the Wednesday before the meeting? We didn't receive this until a moment before the meeting, which does not give us adequate time to research and think about the issue at hand. That's not fair.
Madam Mayor, I'll take responsibility for that. Jerry called me, Jerry and I had a conversation on Friday, and he asked about putting it on the agenda, if it was too late to put it on the agenda. So I advised him to do that, Pam, because it's a work session, we're not voting on
Okay.
anything, it's just a discussion to
Okay.
have. And all it was to just gauge, what's the council's pleasure? If
Right.
council here decides that you guys would like to see it revisited, then I guess what I would suggest is we would bring it back with revisions or whatever the recommendations is, and that would be it for a vote at a later time.
Okay.
So we're not asking you guys, you know, like tonight, I think it was just more of a discussion for clarification.
Well, I understand.
So I apologize, I'm gonna take responsibility for that,
Okay.
because Jerry and I
All
did
right,
have a
you're forgiven.
conversation
It's
after
just-
the packet had already went
It
out.
just makes
so.
it hard to have a reasonable discussion when it's brought up on the spur of the moment, which, you know, I understand stuff happens at the spur of the moment, but please, just if you could bring it the morning of, even, that would have given, because I always look, because I'm always expecting something to be added, so, you know, it just gives me a moment to put my thoughts together rather than on the spur of the moment right now. But as it is, like Jerry said, nothing has come of it. Well, that's because this ethic ordinance keeps us on our toes. And we realize that in the background that we have a certain behavior that public officials must have. And this, having the ethics ordinance isn't a bad thing. It just keeps us on our toes, recognizing that we do need to uphold a higher standard because we're elected officials. And it does cost time and money to go backwards and take it out of an ordinance standard. It's gonna cost the city staff time to rewrite, it's gonna cost money. I mean, why not just leave it as it is and respect the fact that it does keep us on our toes? And it does cover all the boards, plus finally, it does allow citizens a voice. Not that, you know, it's a good thing to allow citizens to have a voice in this situation. Michigan Municipal League further does recommend that cities and towns has an ordinance that addresses their specific concerns if there's something really special. But again, I think it's a waste of city's time to go backwards when we have it now and it's affecting all our boards and commissions. And then each board and commission would have to waste time just trying to, well, we gotta adopt this. It's just not right. We've already have it, why don't we go forward and just keep in mind that it does keep us on our toes.
Councilman Dick?
I've already said mine.
Jerry, did you have something to add?
Yeah, the reason I did want to bring it forward, Pam, to answer yours is, with all the discussion, if I start bringing it forward and bring it out to everyone and, hey, let's start, this is a discussion we're gonna have. Okay, now we've got OMA violations that we have to be concerned with. Because it's informational based, correct me if I'm wrong, it's okay for us to provide each other with information. However, to start a discussion, that's where the OMA starts taking effect. And that was the reason why.
I just meant
excuse
at
me.
this meeting, to clarify.
Yeah.
I didn't mean like this was something in the past, I just meant,
Well, I'm
if you're
saying-
gonna want it to be on our agenda, just give us a little bit of
But
time.
if I were to
Okay,
start bringing the discussion up even this morning, it's a violation of OMA because the residents aren't here. That's why I brought it up to Ellen, just to say, hey, how's the proper way to proceed with this? And again, this was just to gauge how does the council feel? If we feel that it's enough that we need to move forward, we would like to move it forward. Have either further discussion on it or further discussion and a vote. But right now, tonight, since it's a work session, was just to get everybody's feel, is why I brought it up. Exactly what everybody has given was my reasoning for it. So that's it.
Madam Mayor, really quick, just to clarify too, when the question was asked, does this apply to staff? Staff has rules, they have rules and procedures that they have to follow on a daily, so this is something that applies to elected officials specifically, but staff is still held to the same standard as far as ethical, moral, all of those things and their day-to-day responsibilities and stuff. So I just want to clarify that there's this different set, this is for elected, and then we have, our employee handbook and all of those things that address our day-to-day and employees and staff, so, yeah.
Yes, I did. First of all, I never, ever want that I'm a city council person, that I can't have a discussion. This is a work session, and that, especially I know that Jerry said that he had talked to, Ellen. We should never feel bad that we brought a discussion up. We all need to be able to speak about things and speak honestly. With that said, we all have questions. I'm not gonna go back to the new stuff that we're new, because we're learning every day. I have questions about different boards. So if someone's acting unethical on a city board, do we go through the ethics to take them, remove them? Is that the only way to remove someone off of a board? Like, let's go, planning commission. If you have a group of people that can't get along and somebody's being disrespectful, is that a way to so I don't know the procedures there.
The boards
I'm
and
gonna read
commissions
that.
have their own bylaws and things like that. Most of the rules and procedures that govern each individual boards, it addresses attendance for removal, and that's something that, is governed by the board chair, is it excused, is it not excused, things like that. But this ethics ordinance does apply to all of the boards and commissions, and that's something that can be weighted when there's consideration for reappointment or appointing people to these boards and commissions, if there's been anything that has come into play for the council when they vote on boards and commissions. It's once a year, so I apologize,
Madam Mayor, that's where I just want to be able to say that if we have a discussion issue, we need to talk about it here. Talking amongst ourselves sometimes gobble it up. So thank you, Jerry, for bringing it up with the learning for all of us. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I make a comment? Everybody sitting here tonight, we are in the midst of building trust, right? We really are. So it's okay, Jerry, to question. I said, no, I didn't wanna discuss it, because I believe it's okay the way it is. However, I've since changed my mind. Yes, we should. You should completely understand exactly where this came from, exactly how we use it. So it's okay, and, I would have liked to seen it, previously as well. I would like to see something this morning, so I could have went back and reviewed and brought myself up to speed and looked at the ordinance again. But that's okay, we're talking about it now, and we're just gonna move forward from here. That's what I expect, and, maybe we can talk a little more about it at our next meeting, or, what we should so choose, sorry.
Yes. I was in the assumption that these workshop meetings were for that, to throw stuff out on the table, excuse the southern French, to throw stuff on the table and chew the fat, and to see if it has any further need to go forward, or is it just a concern? Am I wrong at that?
No, I don't think that you are. I don't think that any of you guys are necessarily wrong or anything like that. I think that when Jerry and I had the discussion on Friday, it was, is it okay if I bring this up? We discussed council comments or discussion item, and I said I think that either one would be fine. It's informal. Work sessions are to be informal and to be a chance for you guys to be able to talk about a topic and decide as a council if it's something that you guys want to, change, amend, or bring back at a later discussion. So because there was no vote that was happening or anything like that, I told Jerry that, so like I said, I take full responsibility for that. I had a conversation with Jerry on Friday, didn't see any issue with him bringing it up at the beginning of the meeting or during council comments and reports and things like that. So if you guys would all like to see something different, happy to accommodate, but I think that the intent was not to surprise anyone. It was just a discussion and stuff. So we're not asking, again, the conversation that I understand that I had with Jerry was, what is the flavor? What does this council as a whole feel? And so that's it. There's nothing more. And I don't think that it's, the intent of that ordinance when it was put in place was never to be used as a weapon. Are there things about the ordinance that I would like to see changed? Absolutely. But I could also, I'm fine with it staying the way that it is as well. Do I agree that it holds people to a standard? I do. Do I believe that it takes an unethical person and makes them ethical? I don't.
No.
Okay, so it's your ordinance. It's for you all to discuss. It's for you all to make amendments to. It's for you all to discuss and where you want to see it and how you want to see it applied. So past that, I'm here to accommodate, and if you guys want to see any changes to it, I can bring it back at a later meeting. We can take it to the work session in September. That's all. So I don't think, I understand that everybody feels passionately one way or another, but
Point? Yeah, and that's perfect. Okay. That's what a work session is for. A work session is not to get upset with each other. If we throw something out here, we discuss it like adults and say, okay, let's look at it. Or, no, that's really doesn't need to be looked at. If there is no, we're all in this together. So let's work this as a work session and use them for us and the city. Please.
Yeah. Just one thought here. All I was saying was, just for a clarification, I'm not upset that we're discussing this. What I wanted to see is that it got put on the agenda in advance. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
And that's what we're,
But in advance, so we can all think about it in advance.
So,
So
and-
that's the preference. I
Well,
mean, I understand.
Madam Mayor, also, I hear all of you, and to Pam's point, it is nice to be able to have them on the agenda, so that way the audience and the public has an opportunity to see that that's gonna be discussed, and if they feel passionately about it or wanna sit in, they can come and they can listen. So it is nice to be able to have that on the agenda. When Jerry and I discussed it on Friday, again, I will take responsibility, that is on me. I did not have an opportunity to get it on the agenda. I said I don't see, because it's an informal work session, so
Right.
lesson learned, moving forward, we'll make sure that we can, have it on the agenda if we possibly can. I guess I would suggest this, any further topic that you guys would like to discuss, just bring it up in your council comments, and then we'll get it on the next agenda, further. So, does that help resolve?
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, that does. Thank you.
So,
Any further comment? Moving on to the city manager's update.
Just a couple of things. We've been entrenched in fiscal year end and prepping for our audit, also the BSNA transition. Our go live for the BSNA cloud is September 2nd. So they've been doing data polls on our data to make sure that we're backed up, that we have all the things that we need. They're building our cloud system to accommodate. We have live training at the end of this month. So we've been working through a lot of those processes and stuff like that. Last week, bids were due for the LoC Senior Center. We have not had an opportunity to sit down and quantify that, so that'll be coming back. That was for the renovation of the annex and the addition, replacing the sunroom. So we still have that to complete, and again, hopefully be able to bring back something to you guys later this month, early September. Those are very difficult processes to move through because we had ARPA funds and we had CDBG funds, both federal funds that come with a lot of requirements, let's just say, and increases to projects. So, but either way, we will be bringing that back. I have not forgotten about the lube vendor notes. I apologize. We did that on that Thursday afternoon, and I gotta have some time to just sit down, type it up, get it out to you guys, and I'll get out the February notes as well in addition to that and stuff. So past that, we're trying to, obviously see projects through the finish line, all of that kind of stuff, and I'll put Don on the spot a little bit here to give you guys an update on some of the active projects that we've got going on, but past that, I don't really have anything additional. So.
Linden Wood project is nearing the end. We are doing another walkthrough with the contractor on Friday to try to tie up a few loose ends. There will be a gap between moving the contractor out and then addressing the aggressive drive approaches that were installed on Linden Wood. So we'll work with those particular residents as more information becomes available and a timeline. We have a timeline. The pathway over the dam is scheduled to start next Monday. I will get a public notification out this week to let folks know that that section of walkway will be closed for a few weeks while they remove and replace that pathway. West Ralston is, I think we'll say it's over the top of the hill now, so we're getting ready to start asphalt work hopefully on Friday. We're watching the weather a little bit this week with the threat of rain. Hopefully we're able to get that started. Once those folks come in and start laying asphalt, things will move pretty quickly, and we'll start seeing the benefits of that work as well. Landscape repairs and small punch item list will start after that and be completed. The Safe Routes to School project is moving forward. Again, that's another one that's going to be starting up yet this fall. And so folks, as we get more information on start dates and that sort of thing, we'll share that as well. And then I think lastly is the East Broad Mill and Overlay project that's scheduled to happen this fall as well. It will again get notification out ahead of time. That one will be a little disruptive just because it's such a major road, but we will likely be pushing folks down Hickory as a bypass while work's being done there. And lastly, I've been out marking small repair locations for a mill and overlay on some of our major roads. And this week I'm hoping to get in and mark some and identify some areas on some of our local roads so that we can have mill and overlay maintenance performed. Once I have the square footages, we'll be going out to bid, and that's something that we're going to attempt to manage in-house to try to save some money on engineering. So that's all I have.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor. Are doors locked? People can't come in?
Shouldn't
Called
be.
when the doors
Shouldn't.
locked?
Shouldn't be.
It was open.
Did you check that?
I went out, yeah. Just to open.
I'm finished, I can check.
Thank you.
Come back.
Thank you. Sorry.
Maybe somebody closed it because they left it open.
It should have been, it was
Oh, no,
probably.
it's fine, my husband's coming in, you see, he goes, is there a closed meeting?
No,
He left, but.
no.
Thanks, Desmond.
Yes, yeah, I'll take any questions you guys might have for me.
Anybody have any questions?
No, thanks, Ellen.
No, but thank you.
So we're gonna move on to council comments and reports. Councilman Lee, would you like to start?
Me? Okay. Now, I guess I'm the only link here, but, yeah, you know, I think it was good and a good discussion tonight. I mean, there's gonna be different opinions and different views on these things. You know, one thing I wanna, you know, make, I guess, more clear is I do think we need to be held to a standard. If there's another way that we can be held to a standard, it's just this seemed to be, some of the complaints seem to be very valid. Some of the complaints to me, from what I've seen, and I was at the meetings where they were discussed, some of them were less valid. I felt that sometimes it was, you know, straight he said, she said, one person accusation saying it, and other times there was a lot more evidence or things indicating that something might have been wrong. I would like to look into a way that we can have a little bit of both, something that can't be used, weaponized. I mean, I made the statement, and literally 1 month from when I was on that side, maybe 2 months, it was already being brought up, and then it's just been over, and here we are a year into it, and we've had multiple cases, and like I said, a lot of money, but I appreciate the discussion. Everybody's point, whether you agree or disagree with me, that's the whole reason we're here. You know, I think the idea of what we're doing with the work sessions now is a great thing, that we can have these open discussions on things instead of having it more formalized the way it was done in the past. So I appreciate everybody's input, and yeah, thank you.
Councilwoman Howard?
You know, I think the battery's dead. Can you hear me? Okay, so, Jerry, I appreciate the discussion. I really do. All I wanted was just, you know, a little advance notice, you know, that's all. I understand, though. I understand.
Yeah.
So there's no harm, no foul. No foul, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the Linden Mill Historical Society celebration is tomorrow at 7, and so I just wanted to give a reminder to council that you've been invited tomorrow at 7, okay? And it'll be nice. I want to point out that I don't know how many of you are watching this business with the Holly Dam, but I just want to let you know that it is being done correctly, and that if they don't make corrections, because our dam has been looked at and maintained. Unfortunately, there's been problems with the surface soils around their dam, and if they didn't lower it, it could go. If something happened where their dam actually broke, would we see ramifications? Would we see a wall? No, but you know what? Flooding could happen. Just saying that what happens down there. And Holly, I don't know if you know, is they're at, I'm trying to think, 928 feet in elevation. Fenton is 902. We're 878. Argentine is 873 feet in elevation above sea level. Sorry about that. And Byron is 830 feet. So everything goes to Byron and they flood. You know, you can agree to that, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh
everything
my
does.
God.
I mean, that's
So I'm just saying, it will trickle downhill. What we'll see, I don't know, but I just want to make sure you know. That's pretty important. That's really important, you know. We don't need any more flooding. Parks and Rec, we had a wonderful event with Little Explorers in the park doing watercolors last week. It was so fun. The kids painted themselves so pretty, and they also made nice pictures. Our next event is August 11th, the Owl Walk, 7 o'clock, and we're meeting at Linden Wooden Eagles Park, and it's going to be fun. We're going to be walking and going, whoo! Anyway, whoo! And so, whoo you! Anyway.
Pam, what's the date again? Because tonight's August 11th.
Today's 11th.
The left. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not. It's September 11th.
Okay.
Jeez, oh Pete's. You know, it's been a long day. Okay.
You're fine.
It's September Sorry about that, guys. So, anyway, that's September 11th, and it's gonna be fun, and the kids will love it. So, and that's all I have to say. And yes, I appreciate you, so don't worry. Okay.
Councilwoman Simons?
Okay, so, wow, has anybody read the Tri-County Times? Mott Foundation donated $280,000 to the pathway, so, yes, needed, very, very necessary. However, on the other hand, Ed Colito announced his retirement, and if you know someone who is, got a lot of gusto for life, or someone like Ed Colito, the application process is open. Ed personally was fantastic. I was involved in his hiring process. Just a phenomenal person, big footsteps to fill. But man, he's in for the long haul. He's going to train whomever it is that comes in and stand beside us while we get up and running with a new director. Great staff over there too, just so you know. The only other thing I have to say regarding the ordinances, it's that, you know, there were 3 complaints. 2 were invalid, 1 was valid. Valid or not valid, it's why it exists, and standards are really important. I think we all agree on that. So that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Miller?
Well, last meeting I wasn't here. I was exploring Michigan. Explored a lot of Michigan. It was beautiful, all the waterfalls and things like that. So, love to live in this state. I want to thank everyone. I know that your little guys over there really enjoyed themselves, and I did hear they got more painted than what they were painting.
It was fun.
But every board we have worked really, really hard. Don and Ellen, thank you very much for all the hard work you did and getting me into Zoom so I could be part of that discussion. And Madam Mayor, thank you for leading a good meeting tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Hicks?
I don't have much to say tonight. I've already talked too much. I just gotta say, I love the workshop meetings. You know, I look forward to them, so we just gotta keep expanding them. Go team, thank you.
Councilman Dick?
Now, what, that's what workshops are for, is
Right.
get everybody's thoughts on the table before we decide to hash something out. So hopefully, you know, when we go to vote on it at our regular meeting, we have all the right opinions have been heard, and our voices have been shared, and we vote on something that we can all agree on, hopefully. Doesn't always happen, but we'd like to get it that way. Summer's coming to an end almost. The last karaoke at the mill is next Tuesday. So if you guys, actually, yeah, 19th, the kids will be going back to school, so come on down if you haven't been to karaoke yet. Grand Traverse Pie Company will be there, I believe. Fun thing. We got some talent in Linden. Nicole, look, she's ready.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, I have one last thing to say, if you don't mind. Thank you. Good job tonight.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yes, good job.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Meeting is adjourned at, I believe it's about 8:14.